Right now, while you're stuck in traffic, scrolling on your phone, complaining about petrol prices, there's a silent switch being flipped inside a building you've driven past 1,000 times, and that switch decides whether American fighter jets can fly. Your iPhone even turns on artificial intelligence, can think. No alarms, no headlines, no warning, just quiet buildings. Controlling the modern world. Let me ask you something. How is it possible that the most powerful technology on Earth depends on places most people ignore? The impossible connection. Here's a weird question. What do an F-35 fighter jet, your iPhone, and artificial intelligence have in common? No, it's not America. No, it's not China. No, it's not Silicon Valley. It's Malaysia. Yeah, Malaysia. Not beaches, not food, not tourism. Something far more dangerous. Something so important that if it stopped for 30 days, global technology would panic. And here's the scary part. Most Malaysians don't even know it. So how did this country quietly become one of the most powerful choke points on Earth? The buildings. Everyone ignores those factories you pass every day. Penang, Kulim, Batu Kawan. To you, they're just buildings. But inside them, tiny pieces of technology that decide whether cars, start hospitals, function missiles, lock targets. They're called semiconductors. And here's the number nobody talks about. Malaysia handles 13% of the entire world's chip testing and packaging. That's not a little. That's critical mass. Because every advanced chip, before it goes anywhere, must pass through this final stage. And Malaysia controls a massive chunk of it. So what happens when the final checkpoint belongs to you? The number that shook me. Let me tell you the stat that made me stop researching and stare at the screen. 23% of all semiconductor imports into the United States come from Malaysia. Read that again. Nearly 1/4 of America's technology pipeline runs through this country. That includes military drones, missile systems, surveillance tech, fighter jets. The Pentagon doesn't advertise this, but they know. And they're watching. So how did a country once filled with rice paddies end up inside America's military supply chain? 1972. The gamble. It's 1972. Malaysia has barely been independent for 15 years. No reputation, no tech history, no global power. And then something insane happens. Intel chooses Malaysia, their first factory outside the United States. Not Singapore, not Hong Kong, not Japan. Penang. When executives arrived, their cars literally got stuck in mud. The factory was being built on a rice field. No roads, no infrastructure, no guarantees, just potential. So why did Intel take the risk? The fire that should have ended everything by 1975, that one factory was producing over half of Intel's global output. Then disaster, a fire, everything burned. This was the moment. Intel could have left forever. Most companies would, but they didn't. They rebuilt, bigger, faster, stronger, and the world noticed. If Intel trusted Malaysia after losing everything, what did they see that others missed? The floodgates open after Intel stayed. Everyone followed. AMD, HP, Hitachi. By the 1980s, 14 major tech giants were already operating here. Fast forward 50 years. They never left. Instead, they multiplied. Today, nearly every major semiconductor company on Earth has operations in Malaysia. So why are billions still pouring in right now? The money nobody can ignore. Let's talk numbers. Intel, $7 billion advanced packaging facility in Penang. Infineon, 23 billion ringgit, largest silicon carbide chip plant on Earth. NVIDIA plus YTL, $4.3 billion AI data center, not in America. Not in Germany. Here. Why? Because this ecosystem took 50 years to build, and ecosystems can't be copied quickly. So what happens when the world desperately needs something only you can scale? The irreplaceable advantage. This isn't just about factories, it's about engineers trained for decades, suppliers with specialized skills, universities feeding talent, testing standards trusted globally. Moving this elsewhere would take 10 years and billions. Malaysia didn't just participate. Malaysia became irreplaceable, and irreplaceable means power. So who wants that power? The global tech war. Right now, the world is split. America versus China. And chips are the weapons. America blocks China from advanced semiconductors. China desperately needs them. And guess what? Chips pass through Malaysia for packaging and testing, which means Malaysia sits in the middle. America wants control. China wants access. Both are watching. Both are pressuring. So what happens when two superpowers need you more than you need them? The leverage nobody expected. Here's the secret. If Malaysia's semiconductor operations slow down, America suffers. China suffers. Global tech prices explode. That's leverage. Real leverage. The kind that keeps powerful nations polite. So how did Malaysia earn this without oil, gold, or weapons? The decisions that built power, it wasn't luck. It was policy. Free trade zones, tax incentives, infrastructure, consistency. While others hesitated, Malaysia committed. Today, 500,000 Malaysians work in electronics. 25 billion committed to train 60,000 more engineers. Target 500 billion in investment. This isn't maintenance. This is escalation. So what happens if it all stops for just 1 month? The 1 month nightmare. Imagine this. Malaysia shuts down semiconductor operations for 30 days. Instantly, global chip supply drops 13%. Factories pause, military systems ration components, prices skyrocket, markets panic, all because one country went quiet. That's not theory. That's power. So why doesn't everyone talk about this? The risk nobody wants to face. Here's the danger. What took 50 years to build can be lost in 10. Vietnam is offering incentives. India is spending aggressively. Indonesia is moving fast. Complacency kills dominance. So what must Malaysia protect right now? The warning. Protect the engineers. Pay them well. Cut bureaucracy. Kill corruption. Move up. Chip design, fabrication, research. Balance America and China without choosing, because the power comes from both needing you. So what should Malaysians feel about all this? The realization, pride, but also responsibility, because while the world sees beaches, economists see leverage, while tourists see food, strategists see choke points, and while people walk past factories, they walk past the backbone of modern civilization. So next time someone asks what Malaysia is good at, what should you say? The truth. Say this. Malaysia controls 13% of global chip packaging. 23% of America's chips come from here. The Pentagon depends on Malaysia. China depends on Malaysia. You're not small, you're strategic. And the world is watching what you do next. So let me ask you, did you know Malaysia held this much power? Or are you only realizing it now? The moment the world looked up for years, Malaysia worked in silence. No flexing, no headlines, no chest-beating speeches. Then something changed. Governments started flying in, quietly. Executives stopped delegating. They came themselves. Security tightened around factories no one used to notice, because once a country becomes critical, it becomes visible. So here's the question. What happens when the world finally realizes where its technology actually comes from? America's uncomfortable dependence. America likes independence, especially when it comes to national security. But here's the uncomfortable truth. America's most advanced systems, fighter jets, missile defense surveillance networks, depend on chips that pass through Malaysia. That's why U.S. officials didn't threaten. They invested. Intel didn't expand by accident. NVIDIA didn't choose Malaysia randomly. They're not just building factories, they're locking in access. So, if America is locking in access, who else is trying to do the same? China's quiet workaround. China knows one thing very well. It can't win a tech war without chips. Blocked from the most advanced designs, China began searching for paths, not headlines. Malaysia became one of them. Not fabrication, not design, but packaging and testing. And the final gate, legal, quiet, critical. China doesn't announce this. It doesn't have to. So when two superpowers depend on the same gatekeeper, who actually holds the leverage? The art of not choosing sides. Most countries are forced to choose. Malaysia didn't. Instead, it perfected something rare: strategic neutrality. Trade with everyone, partner with all, offend no one. Because once you pick a side, you lose half your leverage. Malaysia became valuable because it stayed useful to both. So how do you protect neutrality when pressure increases? The pressure that doesn't make headlines. Pressure doesn't always come with threats. Sometimes it comes with suggestions, security reviews,